Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finals of the 5v5 Grand Arena. For this session, I've got a pretty capable opponent. I've got Darth Jesus from the guild 50 Deadmen Evokin, and he's got a pretty solid roster and really decent mods. So I'm excited about this. It's going to be a good matchup, and I'll get to showcase some good battles over here. Whatever the result is, I think it'll be entertaining. Let's take a quick look at his inventory, both ships and characters, before we move on to my defense. So, what I like to do is I like to filter on speed, and then I like to go faction by faction to see each of the characters that my opponent has while I'm doing my scouting. So, first faction that I see is Bounty Hunters. Now, he's got the right speed order, which is he's got his boss the fastest, which is always the preferable thing to have. 244 speed, about 87, and he's got a little bit of tenacity, not much, 50%, plus another 50% that Bosk adds on his own. So 100% tenacity Bosk. Boba is his second fastest. He's got a speed set, not a damage set, so I'm not that bothered about him. But he does have a potency cross, 82%. So bounty hunters are pretty decent. The others are squishy, with the exception of Cat Bane, but I think bounty hunters should be manageable. Clone is not much. He's got a good Rex. He'll probably be running the Rex Wampa. Let's see. Empire, he's got Thrawn, who is his fastest, which is the right order for Thrawn to be, and he's at 290, so at plus 128 speed, pretty decent Thrawn. He's got Stark, which is the second fastest at 244. Now Stark under Veers gets a 20 speed bonus, so that 244 becomes 264. So he would be able to counter any of my teams which are less than 264 speed. Any weak teams like if I have weak Ewoks on defense or relatively weak Night Sisters, he would really mow through them. Now, let me first take a look at his whole Imperial Trooper faction before moving forward. He's got Range Trooper at 6 stars, but he does have him. He's got Veers, Stark, Shore Trooper, and he's got Veers, Shore Trooper, Dead Trooper, and Snow Trooper at G12, and the rest of his troopers are at G11. So pretty strong troopers out here, and I think they'll be able to counter a, a Night Sister team just because of the amount of damage which is out there. Snow Trooper, especially if you see how he's modded, almost no speed and for plus 500 offense and plus 20% crit chance and a 216% crit damage. So he's really modded this guy pretty well. And a snow like that is capable of taking out Night Sister teams with a lot of ease, especially if Stark is able to outspeed them. So he's got a good trooper team, which I have to keep in mind while I'm setting my defense. The rest of his empire is pretty standard stuff. He's got a really good Palpatine. Vader is, let's see the speed of the Vader. It's 216, which with the bonus probably will come to around 260 or so. So pretty decent. Vader can get the train rolling as well. He seems to be a pretty well developed in terms of his empire. He's got a gold Krennic as well. Let's see his other factions. His Evoks are slightly weak, which is the reason I think he won't keep them on defense. He's got a Zeta on Chirpa and a Zeta on Wicket, which is all that matters. And his Ewok Elder is G12, which is great. But in terms of speed, his Paplu is really slow. Even though he's got a speed set on him, he's just got him at 171, which means with the 25% speed bump, he's only going to be about 200 or 220 or so, something like that. It's not that threatening. But I doubt I'll run into the Ewok team on defense. First order, obviously the first order officer is the fastest at 251, which is effectively 281 under crew lead, which is great. And his crew is Maurer at 208, which is 238, but he does have a tenacity set on him, a tenacity cross on him, which makes it 56% tenacity. So not too much tenacity, but enough to cause problems for the Fin resistance team. He doesn't have a Zeta on the first order Stormtrooper, and he doesn't have him very highly geared. I think only gear 9, I believe. So I'm not that worried about it. He probably won't keep that as a second tank. So medium first order team, not that big of a threat. Let's see his. We've already checked out his Imperial Troopers. Let's see his Jedi. Now he's got a Revan team. Even though he uses CLS and C3PO and Chewie in Arena, he does have a Revan team triple Zeta, pretty decked out, and a pretty fast and offensive Grandmaster Yoda as well. He's got an offense set on him, which is the right thing to have. Plus 112 speed on the Grandmaster Yoda, and plus and about plus 1500 offense on him, so which is pretty great as well. So his Jedi team is pretty decked out with a Zeta on Bastila as well. So that's something to be aware of on defense. He probably is going to keep his Revan on defense just because he's used to taking down Revens with a CLS team in Arena. So I'm guessing that he's going to be keeping a CLS team on offense to take down my Revan, and then use his Revan on defense. I'm sure I'm going to run into his Revan sometime soon. In terms of his Night Sister, he's got both Talzin and Asajj double Zeta. Probably might keep them on offense, but I'll have to take a look at it. And his Night Sister Spirit is a little weak, which is why I think if he goes with a sister team on defense, he might just run Acolyte and go with the stealth strategy. But let's see, he might just keep them on offense as well. Old Republic, apart from Jolie and Bastila, who are needed for the Jedi Knight Revan team, he's got Bastila Shan Fallen as well, geared up, which means he's got his anti Revan team from a Treya perspective also geared up. So he's probably will have two Revan counters. So my Revan team is probably going to get taken down pretty easily. He doesn't seem to have the scoundrels leveled up, the Old Republic scoundrels, but let's take a look at his overall scoundrels. Yep, his young Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, Kira are not that geared up, and probably not that fast as well. He does have Nest fully geared and Zetad as well, which is going to be problematic. One thing which is surprising is he's got his Han Solo with a speed set, probably for arena. He's got plus 151 speed on him. I usually go with an offense set and crit damage set on Han, but probably this is something which works for him in the arena. So I guess that's fine. L3 also is G11, but even that is quite tanky for that. So he might just keep that team on offense since it's not all the way geared up. And the last faction I want to check out is the Sith. So he has a double Zetard G12 Treya, who is the fastest of his Sith, 276. So he doesn't have a tanky Treya, which is why he might not be using that against my Revan. He might just use his CLS team against my Revan, but I bet he'll keep that Treya on offense to take down some of the other teams that are there. Yep, and he's got a Zeta Maul as well, which we may see on defense as a B Sith team. So that's his overall roster. I'm going to move over to his ship roster and we'll take a look at what he has. He does have Millennium Falcon, 7 stars, that too, and he's got a pretty decked out Han and Chewie as well. So his Millennium Falcon is pretty good, 187. The maximum speed, I believe, is 188 on the Millennium Falcon. So he's got an almost maxed out Millennium Falcon. I've got only a 6-star Millennium Falcon. So if I run into this on defense, I probably might run into some problem. But if I look at um, his piston is only at 145 speed, and mine is at 151. And in Rebel mirror matches, what I've observed is it's more important for you to have a faster piston, which can get the your turn meter train rolling much faster than it is to have a speedy Han. So I think I might be okay with the if I run into his uh, Millennium Falcon and Rebel team on defense, I should be able to handle that with my Hans Millennium Falcon and Admiral Akbar. His Admiral Akbar is at, let's see, so he is at, he's also G12 with with a few G12 mods as well, and his ship is at 176. Mine is also, I think, around that range, 176. So we are about equal in terms of the home one. But I'm probably going to keep mine on offense just in case he keeps it on defense because I don't think I have anything which can take out his if he decides to keep his home one on defense, I don't think I have anything to take that out. So that's a brief overview of his inventory. Let me go over and take a look at the defenses that I've set and my strategy and approach towards setting the defenses. All right. Before we move on to the defenses, I want to talk a little bit about, or actually, let me show you the defenses and then I can talk a little bit about the strategy um, for efficiency because this is going to be an efficiency play since both of us have evenly matched rosters. Now, I saw his Imperial Trooper team and I knew that it's pretty strong and should be able to take out a relatively weak team like this Ewoks, which are quite squishy. The reason I still decided to keep Ewoks on defense is that my Ewoks are G10, G11 mostly, so they might be underestimated. And the second reason is my Paplu is at I've given pretty decent speed mods to him. He's at 223, so effectively 278 speed. So if you remember, his Stark was at 264 speed. So my Ewoks would outspeed his trooper team if he decides to use his troopers on offense against my Ewoks. So I'm hoping that that might surprise him and take out a few, or just take out at least one trooper before he manages to take out that team. So that's the reason I kept these Ewoks on defense over here. I've got my bounty hunter team as well, which is led by Bosk at 300 speed, which is pretty decent. I really want a really fast Bosk just because my a few of my other bounty hunters are weak. As a second insurance, I've also got a show trooper in here. So, in terms of the framework that I talked about earlier, which is ORC, outspeed your opponent, be sure that you're able to reach him, and then C is be sure that when you reach the maximum damage dealing characters, you're able to control them. So in this terms, there are two. I'm making my difficult my characters like Greedo and Dengar and Boba really difficult to reach in two different ways. One is with a pre-taunting Shore, and second with a really fast taunting Bosk. So he'll require at least a JTR team to take that out. Now, over here, what I have is my Scoundrel team and my Karth team. And these are pretty well decked out, especially my Kira led Scoundrel team. Even though it's slow, I've got all the relevant Zetas on there and most of the G12 pieces on them as well. And Lando, especially, is decked out with a lot of damage. So these two teams also require a real premium team to take. The Karth team that usually can be easily countered by Evox or Rex Wampa, and or even an EP team. So to prevent that, what I've done is I've kept a nest in there, which is a really fast nest, and this one is I believe about 291. Yep. So any team which relies on turn meter gain, like Troopers or Evox or EP, a fast nest can really mess up the plans and force them to use some other strong team to take this out rather than rather than using a cheap counter because the rest of the characters in this squad are quite slow by nature even if you speed them up, like for example my Cartonassi, I've speeded him up to, well, yeah, 71 only, so it's 230. So even if I've got a plus 100 speed on him, he would be 260, which is nothing much. So that's why I put a nest in there just to make this team tough to take out. And if you notice, the top team compared to the bottom section, I've kept my tougher teams in the bottom section just because I know that he's going to try to break through the ships and get over there. So I want him to try to use cheap counters to try to take out Bosk or Evox and then end up wasting at least one attempt on that. And rather than going and clearing the south to see what I have at the back and then try to take that out, because that's what I would do. I would first clear out the two at the bottom just to see what characters he has hiding at the back, and then try to decide how I want to tackle this team up top. so that I can use the bare minimum to take it out while still having enough to take out the team at the back. Let me briefly show you what ships I've placed over here. Since I've decided to keep my home one rebel team on offense, I've kept a Mace Timeout team on defense, which has got both the bounty hunter ships, home one and Xanadu Blood, and fives as well. And as reinforcements, I've got Anakin's ship and and the rest of the Galactic Republic fleet, like Plo Koon and Ahsoka and Rex as well. And all of them have their reinforcement abilities max. So it's a pretty decent timeout fleet as well. At the back over here, what I decided to do is I decided to keep my toughest two defensive teams at the back. And the reason for that is by the time he gets done clearing the top and the bottom, I want him to have as few offensive options available to him as possible to prevent the full clear. I know he has a really strong CLS team, which probably will be able to take out the Revan team, especially since the Revan team is pretty weak without GK and Barris. But he would be out of options, and he would have very little scope for error once he reaches the section, and he would have to clear it on the first go. And similarly, I've got a crew team on top over here, which will prove troublesome as well. I decided to keep Barris in there, and I have my crew modded with a lot of health, full gold health sets. He's at about 55k health and 270 speed, which is effectively 300 speed. So this is a tough first order team. It's got all the relevant zetas. It's got a double taunting tanks. You've got crew as well as first order stormtrooper, and it's got Barris in there, which is going to make uh, taking out these teams pretty tough. So those are the two teams at the back, the toughest teams. And let's take a look at his defense. Now, before I go into that, I want to talk a little bit about efficiency. So I'm going to just pause the video over here and go over to show you a snapshot of something else that I've designed. All right. So this is something that I had put together a while back on on the number of points that you get at each attempt of winning. Now, as long as I've had an opponent who was pretty weak to me, I would just set a very strong defense and then go ahead and try to one shot them, not caring much about efficiency. So as long as your opponent is weaker, it's much easy to just go ahead and clear the board and just after setting a strong defense. But if you had an equally matched opponent or an opponent who is stronger than you, then you need to really think about efficiency, which means maximizing the points that you get on offense. And this table that I put together, it's about a month old. But what it does is it gives you an idea about how many points you get taking in five, four, three, two, and one members of the team, and on the first attempt win, second attempt win, and after winning after more than two attempts. So as you can see, after winning more than two attempts, the number of points that you get will be the same, regardless of whether you've had three attempts on the team or 10 attempts on the team, which is why you need to have that early win as soon as possible. And if you can see over here, taking a regular five-member team, if you win on first attempt with full protection and full health, you get 60 points, which is the max you can get with the five going in with five members. If you take in a single person like Nest or Wampa and then end with full health and full protection and take out a really cheesy team, then on first attempt win you get 64 points. So the difference between going with a full squad of five and a squad of one is just 4 points. In some cases, in really close matches, those 4 points can make a lot of difference. But as you can see over here, the 4 point difference between a five-member team and a one-member team is really not as much as compared to a first attempt win and a second attempt win. So if you go in with five members and you have a first attempt win at 60, the second attempt, if you're not able to clear it in the first attempt, on the second attempt, if you go in with five members and end up with full health and full protection, you're only going to get 40 points. So there's a 20-point difference if you go in with a second attempt rather than a first attempt. So it's much better to go in to win with a full five-member squad on the first attempt and get 60 points than to risk going in with lesser members like 4, 3, 2, or 1 and try to get 61 to 64 points and then try to risk losing and then going into the second attempt and then trying to get 40 to 44 points. So you can see on the second attempt, even if you go in with one character like Nest and end with full health and full protection, you're only going to get 44 points, which is 16 less than what you would have got if you had gone in on the first attempt and cleared with a full 5 member team. So that's why I always make it a point to win on the first attempt, even if I lose health and protection. If I lose full protection on all five, that 60 becomes 55. And if all five of them also have less than 100% health, then that 55 becomes 50. Even that 50 is much more than a second attempt, anything that I would get on my second attempt win, which is 40 to 44. So that's why I always try to win on my first attempt, even if I want to overkill a little bit. So that's one important tip to remember. Even if you have to overkill, it's always much better to win on the first attempt rather than going on the second or third attempt to win. And you can see over here the number of points that you get in the third attempt are about 10 points lower than the second attempt win. Even if you go in on the third attempt with the third or the 10th attempt with the 5 member team and end with full health and full protection, you're only going to get 30 points, which is about half of what you would have gotten the first attempt win. That's why it's always important to attempt to overkill if at all you're in doubt with a team. Now I'm going to pause and go back to the game again. All right, so now we are back to the game, and now I'm going to talk about. I'm going to straight away jump into attacking him. Let's see what he has on defense first. So he's kept his Treya on defense. So that's a speedy Treya. So I guess that he would not use it against my Revan on offense. So he's kept it on defense. So I will attack that towards the end because it's at the top. And he's got a reasonably tough Night Sister team with Nest in there. So that is going to create a problem as well because I won't be able to use my troopers against that. And I believe he's got significant offense on these guys as well. 170, which means his Asajj will be about 185 or 175 speed or 275 speed after the bonuses. And he's got decent damage as well. So I'm going to leave these two teams for the end. But first, I want to expose what's behind on this wall. And then I can decide what teams I want to use against Treya and Talzin. So let's see what he has over here. Now he's got reasonably well modded and geared first order and um, bounty hunter teams. Now, usually what I would use against these teams is JTR. That's a foolproof way of winning. Um, the with a medium modded first order team, I like to go in with Finn and Sidious, with the Zeta Finn and Sidious team. And if I check the speeds, the fastest speed that he has on these, like I checked before, was this guy, the first order, at 218. So with the 30 speed bonus, he's 248. I believe my Poe is at 252. So I could go with a Poe if I wanted to. It would be easier because there's no first order stormtrooper tanking over here. But I don't want to risk it just because, like I said before, overkill is always better. So I'm planning to use my JTR team against the first order. And for the bounty hunter team, now there's only one taunter, which is Bosk. And he's the fastest bounty hunter, like we have already scouted out at 244. And my trooper team is at 264 speed, I believe. So my Stark is pretty fast at 264, so he will be able to outspeed the troopers and the bounty hunter team. And the best part about this bounty hunter team is you've got some weak characters like IG88, whose health and protection is only at 13 and 13, 26. So Trooper should be able to get the turn meter train rolling by targeting him. And even Cad Bane, who is at G12, his protection is at 40 and health is only at 18k. So I believe my Trooper should be able to get the job done over here. So let me go in with my Trooper team first. Now I have range, so now range is only at G9, I believe, and the rest of my troopers only G11. but I do have decent speed on Stark. Let me just confirm what speed I have, 254, which means after the 20 speed bump, I'm at 274. So I'm comfortably outspeeding um, the enemy bounty hunter team. The main thing is I need to at least kill off the a couple of weak guys before I have a shot. So I'll be using. Let's just go into the battle and see how I do. All right. So very first step, buffs to give turn meter to everyone else, and I'm going to attack IG88. All right. So wasn't able to kill him, but the next shot should kill him. What I'm going to do now is I want to prevent Bosk from taunting. So I'm going to use the thermal detonator, the second ability of Death Trooper to increase the cooldowns on everyone. So the next guy I want to target is Cad Bane. Boba already has ability block, so that's fine. So I'm going to target Cad Bane. So I'm going to put this on him and use the AoE. And let's try to now. This guy has got stagger, so and so does Bosk. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since Bosk has stagger, I'm going to put the target on him and then pop that stagger. All right, now I'm going to pop this stagger too so that he gets low health, and I can I can either execute or terminate him, or I can just use my basic. I'm just going to execute him just because he has about 40k health, so it just makes things easier. All right, now I'm going to put the reticle on him, and yep, he's gone. Another couple of hits and he should be gone. Great. Now I'm in a very good position. I just have Dengar and Bosk left, and Bosk has got ability block, so that's fine. There's really not much of a threat. And Dengar is almost dead as well. I'm going to give some buffs to give turn meter to everyone, and with this shot, Dengar should die. And I just have Bosk, and Bosk was dead as well. So full health, full protection. So if you can use the troopers on a relatively weak team, they are one of the best teams on offense, just because they can give you full health and full protection on offense if you're able to use them on the right team. So this was a good battle. Let me go ahead and see what I want to do with first order. Now I can use my Fin team, but Fin team is subject to a lot of RNG, and like I said, the importance first of a first kill is cannot be underestimated. So I'm going to go with my uh, Ray Jedi training team to take this one out, and I'm going to have Scavenger Ray and Chopper as the two others. I could save my rebels, my R2 for the rebel team, but I think I think I'll just keep him over here. Let me see who else I have in the resistance team that I can replace. Well, R2 stun is pretty useful, so I think I'm just going to go ahead with this. This is probably overkill, but first kill, that's always important. All right. Dispel. All right, I'm just going to dispel this. And try to take this guy down. Or this guy down. He's the engine. And reduce turn meter over here. Get rid of first order officer. Now let me get rid of Fox over here. Apply healing immunity. So you notice that Crew has got days, so he didn't get turn meter. I'm just going to finish off Fox over here. Now I like to leave the two Kylos till the end, so I'm just going to finish off the first order TIE pilot. All right. So Ray's dispel is out, and let's get rid of this guy. Now we just have these two to worry about. So this is why Ray is a perfect counter to Kylo Ren teams, to the first order teams, because she's got healing immunity, which is extremely helpful in taking out these guys because they heal a lot from Crew's leadership. She's got daze and ability block, which helps to control these guys pretty well. And yeah, so that's something which really helps against these teams. All right, let's almost gone. Let's take out turn meter over here. I should probably save the healing immunity for this guy. Let's try to stun him. All right. Illuminated Destiny. Let's see if we can recover some protection. What I'm going to do is taunt with this guy and try to see if I can recover protection on, or probably not. I'm just going to have 3 full protections over here. That's fine. And my focus is clearing everything on the first shot. All right. So 2 units without protection, that's fine. It's a first shot victory, which is always valuable. Now let's see what he has at the back. I bet his Revan is waiting for us at the back. And no, he's kept his Revan on offense. Huh, that's a pleasant surprise. So this should be very easily handled. All right, so his toughest teams. So I'm not that worried about the EP team. I'll probably use I'll probably end up using my Rex on that, Rex Wampa. And yeah, I think I've got enough for the Phoenix is not a problem at all. It's a pretty weak Phoenix as well, not many Zetas. Now the main thing are these two teams. So I have my CLS team ready and I have my Treya team ready. So I'm going to use my 2 powerhouse offensive teams on these 2 guys. So Treya on Night Sisters, just because Treya lead heals so much, especially if it's an all Sith team. And that is probably going to be no problem at all. You've got Annihilate to take care of Nest as well. And on the Treya team over here, I'm going to use my CLS. CLS is a great Treya counter. Let me go with the Night Sister team first and clear that with the Treya. So I'm going to go with an all Sith team. I'm going to leave EP and Vader for the Empire team. What else? What else do I take? AoEs. I love AoEs against these guys, against the sisters. Yep, this should do the job. Okay, let's go for it. All right, so Nest did daze everyone, but that's not a problem because all the debuffs are going to be cleansed, and these guys are going to heal pretty often, so that won't be an issue. So let me go ahead and isolate. Let's see, who should I isolate? Daka. Now, what happens when I isolate Daka, and why I'm isolating Daka is, let me give it to Nihilus first to reduce his cooldown. Yeah. So why I'm isolating Daka is so that when I kill her, she won't be revived by the zombie automatic revive. Anyone who's isolated will not do that. So I don't want Daka reviving twice to screw up plans. Let's put healing immunity here. All right, let's get rid of this guy and try to So there you see, I because she was isolated, we were able to kill her, and zombie did not revive her. Let's heal everybody up. Yeah, she does come up due to the Talzin's lead, but stun is really not an issue with this team just because Treya special heals everyone pretty conveniently. Let me take out. Yeah, Nest is not much of a problem. Let me take out this one, Talzin. And let's take out. Yeah, because. Yeah, so she revived and she'll revive twice again, but now all the revives are eaten up. I need a heal. So this is the reason why I want all the Sith with AoEs is because Treya special heals every time a debuffed enemy is hit, and with AoE you're hitting up to 5 people at a time. In this case, I'll be hitting 2 debuffed enemies, so that ends up healing people quite a lot. And as you know, we want to end up with full health and full protection. There, see, plague goes away very, very easily, which is why these guys are a perfect counter to Night Sister teams. So that's taken care of now. I still have 2 minutes, so I'm just gonna wait it out, get full health on everyone, and wait for Annihilate and get rid of this guy. Get rid of Nest. Oh, didn't even have Annihilate ready. All right, 56 banners. So I just wanted to end with full health. With Night Sisters, it's very tough to end with full protection, but this is a good outcome. Now only the Treya team left. Let's see. So I believe his Thrawn is pretty fast, 298. So he would have to be stunned first. And he's got Sith Trooper, who I would need to take out using CLS's buff immunity so that he doesn't give us a problem, and then try to get Treya down. And then the rest will be easily controlled. So I'm going to go with my Rebel team over here to take out these guys. C3PO as well. Now, who should I have as the fifth? I should probably go with a tank like this guy, SRP, because his basic, the Scarif Rebel Pathfinder's basic gives 15% turn meter, which I could use on this team. All right. Hopefully this should get the job done. All right, so first move is anyone else that I stun is going to get out of stun the moment they get the turn, except for Thrawn. I'm going to put some buff immunity on this guy and see if I can get rid of Thrawn first because I don't want any fractures out there. All right, so I'm going to use my taunt over here. That should get rid of Thrawn. All right. Now, once Nihilus is probably going to go next, and he's going to use his AoE, so he's going to get countered. Let me... Who should I get rid of? Let me get rid of this guy. All right, so that guy got... Yep. So that's working as intended. Scarif Rebel Pathfinder was taunting, so he got isolated, which is perfectly fine. Now I'm going to get rid of this guy. Unfortunately, he healed up, but it should be no big deal getting rid of him. Might as well get rid of Scion before he gets his hmm, gets his heal off. We unfortunately lost. We unfortunately lost our Chewie, but I think we have the battle under control. All right, so that's taking care of it. Taking a while to get rid of her. All right, 52 banners. Not ideal. We didn't want to lose Chewie, but any first attempt win is good against Treya. You always end up with lesser health when you go against Treya with rebels, just because of all the counter chance. It just ends up reducing your health and protection. So that's fine. 52 banners is okay. At least it was a one shot. Now let's handle the teams at the back, and then we'll move on to the ships. All right. Now, what do I use against these teams? Let's see what I have remaining on offense. I have my Night Sisters, which are a great counter to any team. And I have my own EP team, and I have my Jedi team. I'll probably want to use my Jedi team because I need to complete the GK quest anyway. And Jedi have got a lot of potency, tenacity, which is going to help against EP's potency. So I think the Jedi would be a good match here. We've got one taunt over here, Stormtrooper, but Jedi have got two or three dispels, so that shouldn't be a problem. So let me go with my Bastila team and clear off EP. Now I've got GK taunting, which is good, and who else do I have? I think what I'm going to do is, since I'm not going to be using my Thrawn anywhere else, I'm just going to get him in here for extra control. Maybe I can throw in my Wampa as well, because I'm probably going to use my nest for the other team, my Night Sisters for the other team, Phoenix. Or let me just run through the Phoenix with Wampa. That's fine. So this I think should be a good match. Is there anyone else I can use? No, that's fine. This should take care of it pretty easily. All right, so his Vader wasn't fast enough. My GK was faster than all of them. Let me give retribution so that these guys can start countering. Now, Vader's special can't be countered. His Force Crush, that can't be countered. So that's fine. I'm going to try to get rid of Palp first, just because Palp has got that extra bonus where every time an enemy Jedi or Rebel takes turn, as long as Palp is there, they're going to end up losing health. I believe it's 20% for every Jedi or Rebel. And in the case of Ezra, because he's both a Jedi and a Rebel, he's going to end up losing 40% health every time he takes a turn. So that's the reason Palp is a priority to take out. There we go. The rest should be fine. Yep, so the counters is doing its job and killing most of them. Dispel. And let's get rid of this guy, Tarkin, with the... Yep. All right, Tarkin is gone. Let's get rid of this guy. And let's give protection back to... Who is the lowest? I believe Anakin. Stun. All right. So one great thing about Jedi is because they get the bonus protection up, you have to first chew through the bonus protection before you get to their actual protection and health. So it's very easy for the Jedi to end with full health and full protection. Yeah, let me just finish it off. So only Thrawn is probably going to have, oh, even Thrawn ended up with full protection. That's great. So that's the advantage of using Jedi, just like Trooper team. It's extremely easy to end with full health and full protection when using a Jedi under Bastilla lead. Similar teams which are very easy on offense to end with full health and full protection are Bosk teams and crew teams. Now, these two also regenerate a lot of health and protection. So, if you're in a pinch and you haven't used them on defense, you can use them on offense to if you're playing the efficiency game to end up with full health and protection and get maximum points that you can. Only one team left, which is shouldn't be a problem at all. I could probably solo it with just the Wampa, but I've got, yeah, let's see, there's Zeb, because I don't think I have a tenacity set on my Wampa, and the Zeb has got 37% potency. He'll get more potency if he gets called in by Hera. So Hera's assist move, it grants 25% more potency. So that I don't want to risk Wampa getting dazed or stunned. So I'm probably just going to go with a Rex team. Clones. Yep. Rex, Wampa, and just have them clear it out. This should do the job. I do have my Night Sister team as well available, but the problem with the Night Sister team is they don't recover protection. So they're great on offense to take out really tough teams, tricky teams, which can't heal. Like if I, for example, was facing his Rebel team on offense, I would have probably taken in the Night Sister team just because his Rebel team might have had fewer healing options, and I could just plague them to death. Plus, Night Sisters can recover very well from an early death, which would happen in the case of Han and Chewie. But since I did not have to use them, it's better to use any other team that you think you can end with full health or protection. Because with Night Sisters, you may end with full health, but you're almost never going to end with full protection on them, just because they never recover protection. So I'm just going to go with the Rex and Wampa, an undersized team to take these guys out. All right. So their chopper went first, but I am able to. All right. This guy should be able to counter them to death. So let's get rid of that chopper and then focus attention on the Kanan. I may end up losing this guy, Rex, which is unfortunate. Oops, mistake there. All right. At least he gave a little bit of tenacity up before he went. So that's the problem. I got a daze on this guy and then stun. So Zeb is the Wampa's worst enemy. Let's get rid of Kanan. He'll hit through foresight. All right. So that was a little dicey. I should have probably gone in with a few more people. But so you see over here, even though I went in with two people, because I did not end with because I lost one of them and I ended with full protection on and full health on the other unit, not full protection, I only earned 59 banners and not the full 60 banners. So if I'd gone in with another team with 5 members and ended with full health and full protection, I would have got 60 banners over there. But even though I went in with an undersized party, just because one of them ended up dying and the other one ended up with less than full protection, I only got 59 banners. So if you are confident that you can end up with a team with full health and full protection, always go full 5 members. It was a first attempt win, so I'm happy either way. All right. So now we've cleared off his character section. Let's go to his fleet and clear that off. Now he has Yeah, it doesn't look that intimidating. I think he kept his rebel fleet on offense, so he should be able to clear my fleet pretty easily as well once he reaches that. Let me just use my rebel team and take care of this one. So Biston, my starting lineup is usually Millennium Falcon, Biston, and Biggs, and then I go. Let's see who else I have. I use Lando's Millennium Falcon, and yeah, that should be more than enough, I think. Let me just throw in a TIE Fight ATF as well on that. Vader's advanced. All right, this should do the job. So let's get rid of the TIE Advanced. Now this guy is going to keep taunting as long as the breach is there. So I'm just going to clear that breach. That also heals him for a little bit. I'm trying to end up with as much protection as I can. There, so now the taunt is cleared. I'm gonna get in this guy, Phoenix, and try to get rid of this guy. Biston is great. He every time anybody gets target locked, he ends up giving a um, turn meter to the team. What should I use? Let me get this guy in. Spread some target lock around. So that's another great synergy with the TIE Advanced and the Empire ships because you've got Biston in there. TIE Advanced is going to keep reapplying the target locks as whenever they expire, and that just means an amazing amount of turn meter for your team because Piston Special gives 35% random turn meter whenever a target lock is applied. So that's something pretty awesome. All right, let's just use an AOE. So I believe only one ship is left. Let's see what comes out from the reinforcement. Okay, I think we can finish this off. So 6 of them ended up with full protection, which is great. 65 banners. It's a good victory. Rebels fleet is another fleet which is it's pretty easy to end with full protection. So another reason to use it on offense. Mace's team is also another team which usually ends up with full protection as well, just because of all the bonus protection which gets thrown around. But some of the battles can take a lot of time, even on offense. So I prefer to keep that team on defense. All right. So the full team, we have a full clear, which I'm happy about, and everything was a one shot. I am my opponent hasn't attacked me yet. It's been approximately 8 to 10 hours since Grand Arena opened, so he might be waiting to see what how I did before he plans his move. This seems to be stuck. All right, so so that's the full clear. 1743 points on offense, and so he would have to pretty much one shot all of my teams with pretty good efficiency to be able to beat me. So I think I have this in the bag. I've got a pretty decent team set up everywhere. I don't like to keep cheese at all on defense, even if I'm going defense light. I like to keep at least one team, which is I like to keep all my teams at least decently geared, which will take off at least some health and protection. I don't like to give easy wins because, as you can see, efficiency especially in evenly matched matches. Efficiency matters so much that you can even win by 1 or 2 points. So no freebies to opponents. That's a rule of mine. So this is a tough wall to clear. I don't. I'm hoping that he takes more than one team to clear some of this stuff. He does have all of his good teams on offense. He's got CLS. He's got um, I believe no, he doesn't have his Night Sister. He's got his Troopers and a few other good teams. So he should be able to put up a good fight. But I think I do have this on the bag. All right. So that was that was it for the finals. If you like, if you want to check out some of my other videos on Grand Arena strategy, I have another one on 5v5 strategy where I talk a little bit more about the orc strategy that I have, which is outspeed, reach, and control. You can check that out. I've got a couple of Grand Arena videos on 3v3 strategy. So all of that stuff is there in my playlist. So if you go into my channel and go to playlists, there is a playlist that I have for Grand Arena, which has got all of these videos in there. So feel free to check them out and uh, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.